So I'll just give you a quick overview of what we will actually be talking about. So if we're talking about e-commerce basics, as you can probably figure out or understand, we'll definitely be talking about what do we mean by basics, what is it consisting of, what is important, especially looking at the UAE and GCC. The rules are a bit different than probably for European or like USA. They have definitely different rules than us here, and we want you to understand and to be able to learn from it and to understand it better. After that, we'll give you a bit of an insight as well about the TRA and what does the TRA actually provide you or your business to have a more secure website, to have more trust tiers that actually help you to promote your services, promote your products, and really make you feel, okay, I have a very good point, a very strong connection through the government that helps me enable my my website and my business. So think of it as a bit of an educational process. Of course, we're happy and here to help you out with any questions that you have. And yeah, and then after that, once we're done with the input session, we will just dive into all the questions that you may have, and definitely let you know if there is anything else that you would want to know from us directly or that you needed to know in terms of rules and regulations.
Yeah, we are basically covering e-commerce blueprint on how to do it and maybe on a lot of questions what came across. I mean, we are running quite a lot of events, and there is always some questions there are coming up many times. So those ones we definitely want to cover as well. But at the same time, on a technical point, I will be the person. If you want to know something more technical, definitely you're free to ask directly. As we see, we're screen sharing to multiple different portals. So we just need to look around, right, to capture all of the questions. But we try to make it important for all of you. So if we cannot cover a question, feel free to ask it later or maybe directly send an email. And yeah, I would
put a comment
to Julia.
Put a comment in the YouTube, and we'll ask the questions as we're live here. I mean, that's the idea, right? You're like feel open to ask us any questions. We may write them down or come back later to them, but as we start, I mean, naturally questions will evolve. So then let's definitely get started now and run through it. Now, why, you probably ask yourself, okay, why do you see now myself and Nico? To give you an understanding, we have signed an MOA with the TRA last year, and it was in order to boost and support e-commerce businesses in the UAE. Now, how does that work? We actually provide a training, right? Provide a better understanding, provide a solid e-commerce ecosystem and network in order to, you know, connect easier, like find out if there's any questions, or sometimes when you feel, okay, I need to take my business online, but okay, like, do I need a license? Like, how do I get started? What is my first step? Like, what do I do? Who do I ask? So all these points may come to your mind when you want to go online. And definitely we know it can be very overwhelming with the jungle of different information sources and probably a lot of blogs or materials that you come across. But that's exactly why we have done that collaboration, and why we're actually going to give you the knowledge and help you out as we go along. So this is just for you to understand the background of ourselves. Now, e-commerce, right? I mean, most of you, since you've tuned in, I'm sure you're familiar what is e-commerce. It's trading electronically, it's buying or selling, actually. It's you probably registering products and selling online. Now, there is some rules and regulation in terms of payments, in terms of deliveries, and as well in protecting your site legally. Now, we want to make it sure that you are fully set up with that and have the details and knowledge. Now, Nico will explain you a bit more about Shopify, right? It's a platform that we are the experts of the platform. This is not in order to tell you any other messages, but it's just to let you know that Shopify is a very excellent tool, platform to get your business started, right? You can definitely simply upload your products, get live, of course, have a domain. But we will explain you in steps first about the platform and then like literally how it works.
Yes, so Shopify is basically, it's saying it's everything what you need to sell online. And we started working on the platform within the UAE market most probably around 2.5 years ago. So our agency is at the same age now. And what we have faced in many of our events and directly to the startup industry, it needs to be scalable and it needs to be quite fast. So whatever you require nowadays is actually, you could go with a little bit training, right? Signing up to any of the e-commerce workshops or supporting us or looking at our streams or even what we have online or even whatever you find on YouTube, you will be able to basically start and run the business, an online website by your own, right? It depends always on what scale you would need to do that. But if you want to do it on a basic scale, definitely you can do it by yourself with just investing a lot of time educating yourself, but this is a excellent way to learn about that industry. And yeah, Shopify basically, it is a company which is around 15 years old, and a little bit younger, I would say it like that. It was 2006 officially, and it is now within the UAE quite a long time. And it's the leading platform worldwide. And what we are trying to do is to cover already one question at the beginning, is basically that Shopify is an e-commerce platform which you can build your website. Right? It's either an online store or your full website on that. It's not that you maybe have that store and it's working within Shopify. It's purely a platform which you can build a website, sales website, and you can grow to and quite enterprise level, and there is no limits which can, I mean, everything can be worked out, let's say it in that way.
Yeah, all right. In terms of the platform, it's just to check who of you may have used it or probably been encountering any let's say Shopify or other e-commerce platforms that you have worked on. In terms of getting points on your website online, you must have noticed there is an opportunity of getting a theme, uploading content on the theme. But it's good to know that you can upload content. You can do that on most of the platforms, right? But you definitely would need to know, okay, what content should go on my e-commerce site, and how do I manage to know what's the right content and what's probably not necessary for the beginning. So we'll give you an idea of definitely what you should have, and that's from your business, from your branding. This is one, regards to the legal terms and your branding. So you should definitely have a logo, right? If you do not have a brand strategy, a mission, vision, etc., it does not really matter at the beginning, because most of the times when you start your own business, you will have your branding evolving with you as the company does. So make sure that you have your logo, make sure you have your messaging, your color scheme that you probably want to align to. The more clear you are about the colors and the messaging that go in line, the more actually structured and nicely your website will look, right? Now, aside from that, you definitely will have a good deed in integrating trust seals. Now, what are trust seals? We will go about that and definitely explain you what services the TRA offers in order to have trust seals on your website. Now, whenever you go and you're on a website that you can shop online, you may have encountered a privacy policy, terms and conditions, and shipping and return or delivery policy, right? Why is that necessary? Now, first of all, privacy policy, it regulates the privacy of your website, like the actual, when a user comes, these are legal terms, like as if you're having anyone buying in the store. There's rules and regulations that you have to comply to. And those, as I mentioned, terms and conditions, return and refund, and privacy policy is needed for the payment gateway to approve your store. So that content is essential, not only for you saying, okay, I want to be legally backed up for your users using the website, but also to make sure that your payment gateway, the payment gateway that you select to integrate, will only approve you and give you the okay to sell online with a credit card when you have those rules integrated officially and live in your website. They usually appear within the footer of the website, right? So when you completely scroll down, you have the necessary information, a contact us, probably any other careers page or what you want, but make sure that those legal pages are essential and definitely good for you as a backup. Yeah. Now coming more towards the sales side, what else should be on your website other than the legal parts, terms and conditions, is definitely, aside from your products and aside from the pictures of your products, you should probably think of an email sign up. If you integrate an email sign up, it will allow your customers to stay up to date. You are collecting user data, meaning you can always send emails, keep them engaged. Definitely important, integrating or structuring your website through collections. Why? Because if you're even going through any retail stores, or if you're going along with whatever website you navigate through, even if it's not an e-commerce, mostly the content is structured by category or by a theme, right? So let's say I'm Julia and I'm selling water bottles online, right? What do I need to consider? I need to say, okay, is it non-sparkling? Is it sparkling water? Categorize. This kind of categorization will help your user to identify the product better, to learn more, and also to filter it better. So let's say if you have 1,000 products on your website, you need to ensure that your users are able to filter through and to know, okay, I only want sparkling water, I don't want any still water, how can I find it the fastest? Because you have to make sure that the user journey is as fast and simple as possible without getting caught up in the nitty-gritty of certain details that you feel are maybe important, but that are not important for the actual user. Now, how you can assure that? Step one, have your website, when you set it up, have it tested, right? Have it tested how? By friends, family, maybe a coworker, anyone that you feel you get an independent knowledge, and you let them run through and do a test purchase on the website in order to see, okay, do they get out of the website what they want? Do they need anything? Is there anything you feel you could improve? Do that. As well as videos. Now we dive in a few more of the contents that we will also share in the slide. Very important is the UAE and the environment here is very digital, digitally very strong. So we have a mobile and an internet penetration that is incredibly high, and you definitely can use that to focus on using the tools like social media tools, integrating it on your website, keeping active in blog posts as well. So you need to put in a lot of actual content work, and like it's called content marketing in the end, but it makes you genuine and it lets you describe to people exactly what you want. So for example, how do we do that? Let's say I'm still with my water company. I will have, for example, a gold bottle of water, right? So what is that? It's kind of a marketing trick. I would say, okay, to get the gold bottle of water, post it in my Instagram. This is my gold water bottle. Tag 2 of your friends and write an inspiring comment about what water means for you in your life. So you will basically understand by doing that, you have actually your users working for you and keep on tagging other people, right? The second they tag other people, you have an increase of audience. People are getting aware of you. And in the end, you have that gold water bottle that you give as a giveaway, which means you're actively content creating. Those things work extremely well. And we've seen them in companies engaging them in the UAE. So thumbs up. This is something, keep it up. This is very essential to keep connected to your users and let them understand. I was just quickly sliding. I see we have a few questions that we will dive in. Let me just finish the content points, and then we will quickly jump into your questions before we head over to the next topic here. Now, if you look as well at images, make sure your image quality is high resolution, right? And that they're web compressed. Many people forget and they get a lot of pictures done and they forget, okay, the picture is probably a bit blurry or it's too dark. Your visuals are what people will actually be driven to look at, right? And as you see, sometimes if you check Instagram or Facebook profiles or even Snapchat, you will be more engaged with those that are driving a content or pictures that you think, wow, they're nice, they're clear, they're bright, right? It's a natural thing. Why? Because it resembles to professionalism. And if you do that with your website, you'll definitely be on the right path for that. Anything else?
Some of the points, they're more technical, but for us, what we have figured out, and most of the startups we have worked with or advised, is one of the points is most of them, they maybe get a little bit too much lost on the parts what Julia was saying. Definitely it's really important, but at the same time, we need to understand we're now in the sales business, right? The e-commerce website is not a normal company website. In e-commerce, you're trying to sell a product, to sell a service, to sell whatever you would like to that person. So you need to understand that you need to put the content around selling, call to action, clear structures, and you need to find, I wouldn't say a niche, but you need to find a target audience which you can talk to. Let's say if you talk to a family, most probably you understand the family decisions, most probably are more torn to a woman. Yeah, if they have children, so if you're selling something for children, you would need to understand, okay, my website needs to have emotions, whether it's pictures, what Julia mentioned, or whether it's a call to action, which are related to the kids, to get the emotion from a mother, which basically would purchase on that website. So we found there are many points that maybe you have a nice looking website, but end of the day, if someone is on your website, they don't understand that you actually try to sell them something. So you need to focus on that and to make it more targeted for an audience, because you cannot convert every single person, but you should try to convert the person which is really important to you. And at the same time, if you start a marketing, if you start a strategy, it's exactly the same. Let's say people tend to buy or to get something what they like or they can resemble with them. So let's say if you target, again, the family, you should definitely understand to bring pictures into place which you have those emotions as well. Or maybe let's say if you talk about kids or a father, maybe that father wants to have something XYZ for his children and wants to be a hero for them, or whatever you think what might trigger an emotion related to your product. This should be a way how you go forward, and a definitely clear call to action. This was a point which we actually had quite often, so we just wanted to highlight that as well. And I think Julia will cover now some of the questions, and before we go to the next points.
Yeah. So I'll just go and read it out. We had Huda asking if I already have a business account on Instagram, can I have a business on Shopify also? Now, definitely your business account on Instagram is great. Thumbs up for that. Just make sure if you're thinking of actually selling, right, which I understand is your intention, Shopify integrates with Instagram and Facebook. So you can definitely integrate your Instagram into your Shopify store, upload your products on Shopify and go and sell it from there. Just as I mentioned before, make sure if you want to collect online payments and if you want to be legally on the correct side, that within the UAE, you cannot sell any products without having a legal license and registration for that. And how does that work? Different licenses, right? If I'm, for example, coming back to the example that we started with water bottles. If Julia, I'm getting in the water bottle business, there's different regulations than if I'm, for example, in the I don't know, in the fashion business, right? Okay, great, Huda, thank you. I see your comment, so I hope it definitely makes sense. As a water bottle reseller, I would probably have a concern, or I need to back up myself to have trust and to have people like understanding that I'm selling a product that is safe and that is compatible to use with, let's say, for example, different types of elderly people, kids, etc. So make sure whatever you focus on, if your business is manufacturing something, you need a different type of license than if you're just reselling the item. That's very general. There's a lot of different licenses that apply, but just know that, because that's one of the biggest differences that we have. And then I will just continue. I think it was Elias asking, don't the payment gateways acknowledge Shopify anyway? Yes, there is Shopify approved payment gateways that integrate with an API into Shopify and make it possible to sell. We will tell you now in the following parts which exact payment gateways you can integrate to very seamlessly and easily. So Elias, your question will be clarified as we go along, if that's cool. Then Charlie, banks don't fully understand the e-commerce business structure, and therefore payment gateways have been an issue, as well as office space. I haven't been able to launch because of this. All right, Charlie, so same as Huda, I would recommend you look into a license, right? Once you understand in terms of core business, right? If you're in fashion trading, for example, or if you're in water bottle trading, whatever it is, get this activity registered as well, not just the e-commerce activity. We do understand banks can be sometimes very tricky. If you genuinely show them or get the website set up done first, have them review it, show them you have actually something in your hands that will convince them that you're doing an actual business. It is definitely possible to have banks engaged in that. There is different type of banks available. You may look also into getting the license first, because no bank account will open your business bank account without having a legal license. And the payment gateway will definitely follow, as I said, once you have the policies online, and they can be integrated along with your bank account. So first, get your business license. Second, get your bank account. Third, get the website, or get the website even with the stage 1. And last but not least would definitely be getting your payment gateway fully integrated. So that's usually the procedure and the step that we recommend definitely for especially for the region here. All right, Emmanuel, is free and shipping a good method? Free shipping is definitely a good method, and if you see most of the websites, they have free shipping above 250 dirham, free shipping above 1,000 dirham. Depends what you want to do. Usually, it engages you to buy more. Why? And that's a psychological fact, right? Most of the people, when they go to the checkout and they see even, let's say, 5 or 10 dirham appearing there in the little box below the actual product price, you will be like, nah, I don't want to pay that 10 dirham. And why is it 5 dirham? And even though it's such a small amount, it's a mental barrier to actually continue to check out. Now, if you give them an incentive, knowing that if I hit certain threshold, like 500 dirham, for example, and they reach that, they can check out for free. That means, the shipping will be free. That means you provided them a value and actually upsell or cross-sell them to buy more from your products from your website. And it's a great tool. I will definitely recommend that. And if you check most of the UAE e-commerce sites, they do that, exactly that. Okay, from which turnover generated should I open a company? Now, Emmanuel, it's difficult to say from which turnover generated, because it depends, again, on what is your vision, what is your product. We have some companies, right? Let's say they have a boutique store and they're selling, but the way they're selling is only offline. Now, maybe they have a sale of 10 million dirham a year, right? Or even they have a sale of 1,000 dirham a year, It doesn't matter where you evaluate to go in order to go online. It evaluates rather than saying, okay, this is my focus. This is my business. I want to grow this business. I believe in it. And I have the right financial substances to go online and to take it forward in a professional manner. If you feel that makes sense for you, you can do that. But please be aware, opening an online business is, yes, it is cheaper than probably opening a retail business or a boutique office or a store in the UAE. But as much dedication as you spend on building a retail store or a business that is not online, you need to put that same dedication into the online business, right? Into the marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. Probably get an influencer, even if it's an influencer of around 5 to 10,000 followers that is out of your, like network, if they have genuine followers that are within the region that you want to target, makes sense to look at them, right?
Yeah, to cover the next point, I think it was from Emmanuel as well. Is Facebook ads the best tool to advertise my product? I mean, it always depends. The best tool is always the tool which is exactly reaching your audience or the persons you would like to sell to. So at the moment, definitely, yes, Facebook and Instagram is quite hot. Whatever it will change, right? If it changes to any other platform, you would need to adjust that. But I mean, the Instagram and Facebook is running a little bit different because we had there a few questions in regards of how it might work, right? It's not working in that way how it maybe was seen on YouTube already, right? For here, you need to have it more targeted and more niche because you don't have those audiences which you maybe find in the US or in Europe. So what we have experienced is more in the geolocation target area. Let's say if you would like to run advertisement for, again, a family, or if you would like to have something more of any audience, you could say, okay, you are targeted by your geolocation, which would be maybe 1 mile radius, and you just go around of Meadows area, just for an example, right? So you would understand what kind of person or people you would attract there, and then you can make it, or you can adjust it deeper down. At the same time, go to Meadows, a nice place which most of the people understand, do there some photos, right? At the same time, it will resemble and they will understand that this is something related to them, and if it's related to your audience, it might be more appealing. So you can have certain segmentations. This is something which we had quite good experience with. But then it would come more into Facebook targeting, advertisement, and Instagram, which is a totally different story and business. There is a big point, big analytics behind, and but it's the right tool and the right way to definitely take that forward, but maybe not in the way which you maybe have seen or heard yet. But yes,
Emmanuel, I think one suggestion here would be, we have I think one of the blogs on social media marketing, and we have a social media marketing expert that we work with. So if you want to be connected to them, feel free to reach out. Now, coming back, I see there's a couple of questions, so let's wrap them up and continue. Charlie, do you guys help with the license and bank side of launching an e-commerce store? We have a partner that can help you in terms of setting up the license, right? It's a legal license consultant for the various either free zones or as well DED licenses that we can put you in touch with. We are not helping in terms of the banking side because that's not our core business. And I mean, probably the guys who will help you setting up the license will know which free zones or which DED companies are, let's say, compatible with certain banks in terms of opening, and they should provide you as well the contacts. That's exactly how they actually work. But yes, we can do the introduction. We can get you started with that. So thanks for that. However, I did all of that. It took a whole year at the end, the payment gateway, because I didn't have office space. Charlie, if you want, you could also drop us an email, info@creative971.com. Give your story, give also to us which actual payment gateway you've used, and probably when we come talking about the payment gateways that we work with, we can let you know as well. I mean, we can put you in touch with them too, right? Now, we will definitely dive into that payment gateway question of yours. Now, I see Amar having a question. Is this Shopify just for UAE companies or worldwide business? So company out from the UAE can join. Yes, Amar, Shopify is actually a Canadian-owned or Canadian platform that works worldwide. You can even sell from the UAE worldwide. You can set it up wherever you want. It's just that we are here in the UAE, right? So we are the experts for the UAE, but you can do that in any city or in any country of the world that you prefer. Huda, that's a good question. Drop us an email as well. Same as I said to Charlie, just drop us an email to info@creative971. We'll be sharing the details. Or as well, I mean, if you guys want to connect with us on social media or with the TRA, you can definitely do that. We'll share the contacts as well. Yes, Omar, if you build your website here, you already answered your question, right? If you base your business in the UAE, you need a license from the UAE, and you will probably be integrating a UAE payment gateway. So yes, you will need a license. Welcome, Charlie. And yeah, I see. Okay, Elias already dropped his email there. Amar, yeah, welcome. All right, so I think we'll wrap the questions up here. We have a few more content for you, and probably you get a few more questions out of there. Now, just to dive in a bit, to give you some numbers, if you have if you've heard of Hootsuite, Hootsuite is a social media scheduling tool. What's important, or what's actually interesting, Hootsuite is releasing worldwide and UAE specific data in terms of insights of how the market performs. And that's coming back to probably also Emmanuel's question, or anyone who's targeting digital marketing or social media marketing. Very important to know that UAE is the leading rank worldwide in internet penetration. So we have, I think, around 9.5 million users, or 9.5 million residents in the UAE. And out of those, 99%, 9.4 million are actually using the internet daily. Now, you will be surprised of how much of it daily. To give you an example, the worldwide average of internet penetration is just 53%. So being 99% in the UAE has a huge advantage for you guys to market your products online in a smart way. Now, how? We'll just spend a bit more time to let you know how does the UAE user spend his time online. Now, surprisingly, but then at the same time not so surprisingly, an average daily internet usage spend of a UAE resident is 7 hours, 49 minutes, which is incredibly long, right? That includes as well maybe internet usage for your work that you do while you browse, while you do research. So it's just an average. But the interesting part to know, the social media engagement, for example, is around 3 hours, right? It's 3 hours per day, which is quite intense. Then viewing, broadcasting, listening to music is as well another extra 1 hour per day, which, I mean, if you see it that way, there's huge potential digitally. And also, if you look at, for example, I mean, we're from Germany, right? So in Germany, if you have something, you walk around in the stores, you connect, you have a lot of places you walk around, you can sit without, let's say, for example, spending money. If you're in the UAE and you're going to a mall, you cannot say, okay, I do a picnic in the mall and I bring my own food and I sit there and I chat with friends, for example. That doesn't exist, right? At least not in the summer, unless you want to sweat. So the idea is to connect more digitally and to enable way like more on a digital scale. Now, why does it make things easier for you? Because you can way better control or basically work towards your users. And coming to that point is very important is video content, right? If you say you have a website and it starts with a video, or when you scroll down, a video is coming explaining about you as a business. Okay, I'm doing X, I'm selling water bottles. I give a story of a nice waterfall, and I sell the emotion, right? So in the video, I like kind of pace and direct my clients or the users of the content to what I want them to do. So obviously I want them to buy my product, right? So I have those secret emotional messages while I'm selling it. And most of the time, there is no such like rocket science as people say. What you will see is the force of recommendation. So if you have one happy or positive user, you're more likely to tell your friends and family, okay, I have had this and this experience, and this was cool, and this worked out perfectly fine. So you will definitely build a momentum over time. So you have to definitely focus on that. All right, trust and engagement points, definitely, as I said, get testimonials, have review links, let and engage your users, give them an incentive. For example, okay, give me a testimonial and I give you a 10% voucher. If you need to do that for the first 1 year in order to increase your sales, do it. It will help you sell, and it will help you get more positive testimonials. The more positive testimonials you have, the better you will be ranking in Google, the more questions you will get from your users in engaging with you, and the better your website will perform, because you have actual users using your site and buying your product, right? Same with the remarketing, and that goes into referral programs that can be structured, integrated within Shopify. Always make sure you have, let's say, a seasonal campaign. You have the Eid holidays now coming up. You can say, okay, I have a special Eid promotion or anything like that. And the trust seals as well of the UAE. So we'll definitely dive into that too.
We had another question which I just saw. I just want to cover that as well.
I think it's Omar, right? Yeah, I'll just read out the question for you guys. Can you please let us know, probably, is there any approval needed from the UAE side to activate a PayPal gateway? Now, actually, I'll let Nico take over now, because he will dive into what is a payment gateway, or probably what payment gateways do we use, and then also cover your topic, Omar, for the PayPal account for the UAE.
Yeah, PayPal definitely it works on Shopify platform, but you would need to enable it to dollars so far. So if you have your Shopify store in the currency dollar, you will be able to connect through PayPal, and then yes, definitely you would need to follow the regulations through PayPal and that setup. But this you will directly see it in the platform as well, because they ask you for a specific implementation, and then you just go forward from there. The points for a payment gateway, we actually had many questions even before, so we just wanted to make that quite simple. It's an explanation. It will be in the PDF what we will share with you later on as well. So a payment gateway, just for you to understand, it's exactly the same way how you will process if you would go to any retail store nowadays, right? If you have a website, an online website.
Just a quick interruption. What Nico said, very important. Get your content and get the exact explanation and the contacts. Get your certificate. If you see the mGovernment Virtual Academy link, there is like when you scroll down in your YouTube, you see there is a training.government.ae link. Click on that link and make sure you are you basically access that in order to get your training material, which is our presentation, and to get as well the certification from the TRA. Don't miss out on that. So I'll let you continue.
Yeah, just to quickly follow up on the payment gateway. Basically, it will work the same way if you have a retail outlet, right? You sell something today in the mall, you go to any shop, and if you would like to pay by a credit card, right, they will offer it to you. So you can run your website as cash on delivery, right? But to enhance the user experience, if you would go to a restaurant or to any shop in the mall today, they would ask you, we only allow you to pay cash. Most probably it would be a little bit odd, or it would look strange, because none of them are doing that. So how it works is you take like a payment gateway for your website, right, which is a point of sale or like a transactional gadget in the retail store. And you, as the website owner or as the retail business owner, you will bear a percentage to offer your clients the convenience to pay by a credit card. It's the same way, because we had some questions, why is a payment gateway charging a percentage, right? So, I mean, they do charge. This is not only because it's a payment gateway online, it's a normal processing charge which needs to be paid because you want to offer that on your website. And this is how actually it will be implemented, yeah.
Cool, yeah. So we definitely have credit card and cash on delivery. So cash on delivery being dominant, it's still around 60 to 70%. The remainder is by cards. Now we'll just go and name the payment gateways in the UAE that are working seamlessly together with Shopify. And it's first definitely Pay For It, if you have heard of Pay For It. PayTabs, we have Checkout, we have TAP, which is TAP, which is a payment gateway that is very friendly also for startups. And we have definitely Teller, which is a UAE-based payment gateway and as well working for the UAE.
Yeah, next point which we would want to cover is basically the logistics. So if you have an e-commerce website, whether it's Shopify, basically how it would work, you would need to, or you should connect your e-commerce platform or Shopify with a with a logistics company. At the same time, we have startups, they are just trying to start, right? So they are not worried about every single setup because, as said, we have many startups that actually get really lost in the process and they want to focus it and they want to make every single integration complete and ready. Let's say if you want to start today and you try to do it, you don't even need to worry about that integration because you maybe sell one product within the first week, one product within the first month. So this is something which you even could directly do on any dashboard of one of those shipping couriers, which you don't need to have an integration. But if you want to integrate it, we definitely have Aramex here. They offer integration directly for free within Shopify. We have Fetcher here, which is doing exactly the same. And those integrations, they are working solid. As well, Poster Plus and former SpeedX, it's working as well. They do even the fulfillment, in-house fulfillment and storage. So those three are working together with Shopify. And based on the experience, what we had with a lot of clients, this is the easiest way to go forward. You can use any shipping courier which you actually want, but if you want to have an integration, a live integration to get automatically that information retrieved from Shopify directly to the payment, to the logistics partner, as well as the tracking number. This would need to be worked out, or we would need to look into that. But the points of the mentioned above, definitely it will work, and is what we could advise you to use them.
Yeah. So then coming to the trust seals. Now, trust seals you will find like most probably throughout your collaboration partners, use their logos. If you have a payment gateway, use the logo of a Visa card, MasterCard, use big companies that you work with in order to collaborate with them. You can also follow the link tra.gov.ae, right? What you will find there is trust seals like a non-objection certificate on participating in an e-activity. This legalizes, or like TRA actually approves your website to be used online for online use, and you can use that to integrate and also for your users to have a look through it. In our presentation, there's the link. There's also step-by-step how do you actually integrate and how do you apply for that. That will be shared, and as well, don't forget, a very powerful tool is the .ae domain. Right? I mean, yes, even if you're planning to sell worldwide, a .ae domain provides you a localized trust, and is definitely a big thing to be used. You will also find it on the tra.gov.ae website, and also a screenshot within our presentation to explore a bit more about how it works and about what actually it means. So from our side, we would definitely be sharing the presentation with the contact details from our side and also the contact details for the TRA, social media links, social media contents. If you had as well any other questions, I can see Omar, is there also VAT applied on the e-commerce websites? Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you are meeting the threshold of the VAT registration, you need to register your business, and there is a tool definitely of integrating VAT on your Shopify store. And as well, of course, I mean, when you check out, the VAT will be collected through the payment gateway, and then your accounting, or within your own accounting, you can then file your VAT complaint. So it's the Shopify is coming from an environment, let's say Canada, which is already a tax environment, right? So handling taxes, handling tax invoices, et cetera, and so forth is nothing new to the platform, and is definitely working very, very smooth and seamlessly. I mean, if you're checking out, for example, our portfolio, our reference pages, with whom did we work with, who is using that, how are they using things. Just browse through and check, because whoever is setting up their website, doesn't matter if it's necessarily Shopify or not, but they know how to follow certain processes. So it's always good to have a look at that too.
Yeah, I mean, that was the point. I mean, I'm just reading another question. But I mean, if you have something what you would like to have answered from us now, apart from that, definitely feel free, because now we would kick off more Q&A already, because our topic is done so far. So we're happy to help.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, guys, thank you for taking out your time and to stay on with us, even with initial difficulties to get live. And you'll definitely get the presentation. Just please make sure, maybe you can share some content with us. I mean, maybe even you preferred seeing our faces rather than a presentation, or you would prefer a mix of both. Let us know what is your preference, because we want to make you to take out the most of it, right? And as well, let us know what is maybe a topic that you want to dive in the next session, right? So if there is anything you say, hey guys, this was good, or yeah, this was okay, but I was lacking a bit of XYZ information. Now it was the basic foundation. It's like as if you're building your house and we're just, pouring the concrete and making the piling. So we're just starting building the foundation for you to understand. So anything that step by step we can create in building a beautiful e-commerce house, share with us how we can structure the content for you in the next time, and have you have the best e-commerce specialists in the UAE too. Bye.